Chosen one, this message didn't arrive by chance. It was time to reach you in this exact moment. You were pulled by divine timing. What if I told you the person who applauds your every move has been feeding your enemies behind your back? You weren't drawn here to scroll mindlessly. You were summoned to remember what they made you forget. In this video, you will learn how hidden betrayers operate in your circle, why their smiles mask sabotage, how their exposure triggers divine justice, and how you can reclaim the power they tried to steal. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay with me, because the truth they try to bury is rising now. The hidden agenda of supporters. In the hush before dawn, you find yourself standing at the edge of a dream you once thought was meaningless. Perhaps in that twilight moment, you sense a presence beside you. Soft applause echoing through the mist, warm words whispered in your ear. Your heart stirred as though it recognized a long-forgotten tune, yet a shiver of unease followed the praise. What if those hand claps weren't celebrating your light, but had been counting its beats all along? In the spaces between their compliments, you now hear the faint scratch of pen on parchment, transcribing every hope and fear you dare to share. The curtain is lifting, and you realize the standing ovation may have been part of a hidden design. For years, you carried the weight of your own difference as a quiet burden. Your sensitivity felt like a vulnerability you couldn't explain, and your empathy, both gift and curse, often left you questioning whether you were simply too much of the world around you. You remember the uneasy laughter when you spoke of visions no one else saw, the rolled eyes when your intuition nudged you toward truths that unsettled familiar conversations. In those moments, isolation wrapped you in silence, and confusion wove its threads to your daily life, convincing you that if you just fitted in more, the ache of being misunderstood would finally ease. Yet now you glimpse a larger tapestry, an unseen architecture tracing each falter and triumph back to divine authorship. Your loneliness was never a punishment, but a chapter in your initiation. Recall how the prophet Elijah wandered in the wilderness, sustained by ravens in the desert. 1 Kings 17 verse 6. Unseen allies serving a purpose beyond his understanding. In the same way, your convictions and contradictions have been guiding you toward a destiny written in the stars. The very patterns that once felt like random threads are now revealed as purposeful strokes in a grander composition. As you move through your days, subtle signs begin to flutter around you like golden moths drawn to a light. There are moments when a stranger's offhand comment resonates with your unspoken thoughts, as if the universe itself echoes your inner dialogue. You might wake with music box melodies ringing in your ears, or find initials etched unexpectedly into the condensation on a window. The gentle tug of deja vu pulls at your sleeve in mundane settings. A coffee shop table that mirrors a childhood conversation, a line of dialogue in a film that matches a dream you once forgot. These are not coincidences, but delicate murmurs from the realm beyond, reminding you that the story you thought you were living is only the surface. In the quiet unfolding of these revelations, your intuition stands vindicated. You begin to trust the soft pulse in your chest, the subtle taste of truth lingering on your tongue when you speak. Recall the reassurance in Proverbs 3 verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Yet here, you lean into your own higher knowing and discover a grounded sense of safety that feels both ancient and immediate. It is not a sudden eruption of light, but a gentle dawn spreading warmth across the horizon of your soul, affirming that you were never imagining the stirrings of your own spirit. With each breath you take, the remembrance of who you are grows more vivid. It is not the adoption of a new identity, but the unveiling of a core that has always existed, dormant beneath layers of circumstance. Imagine an ocean floor glittering with treasures buried under centuries of sand. This is the essence you now dredge up, recognizing the archetypal memory encoded in your bloodline. In that rediscovery, you stand taller, your shoulders aligned with the invisible spine of your own narrative, ready to reclaim the purpose that has long awaited your full presence. Now, at this threshold of awakening, you feel the first embers of activation glowing within. Your sensitivity ceases to be a liability and becomes the acumen that discerns truth in the murk. Your empathy, once a source of confusion, transforms into a beacon that illuminates darkened corners wherever you walk. This is your invitation to step forward, to embrace the spiritual hunger that propels you beyond comfort zones, and to wield your inner wisdom as both shield and compass. With deliberate intention, you plant your feet in the ground of your own authority, feeling the vibrational cord that ties your heart to higher realms. Your presence here is no accident, and this revelation marks only the beginning of your journey into deeper truths. You have seen how they stood beside you, offering praise that secretly fed your saboteurs, and now you understand the stakes of reclaiming your space. Comment support if you felt the sting of applause at mass betrayal. Stay close. For in the next section, we will explore how emotional warfare and energy theft have been used against you, and how to break free from their grasp, stepping fully into the light that was always yours. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Emotional warfare and energy theft. A flicker of tension passed through your chest as you sat across from them. The way their smile tightened, the slight pause before their laughter, as though they were measuring how much light you let escape. In that silent instant, a hush fell over everything you thought you knew about support. There was a heaviness in the air, like the world had lowered a veil to muffle your voice, and you sensed an undercurrent of something working against you long before you could name it. It was the moment you realized the applause might conceal a darker motive, and that the very people you leaned on were the architects of your doubts. In the quiet aftermath of that realization, you felt an ache of isolation deepen within you. The warmth you once felt at being praised turned to cold when you noticed how quickly their attention shifted elsewhere. Each compliment landed like a half-remembered echo, stirring a well of shame that whispered you were too much, too sensitive, too ambitious, too aware of things they preferred left unseen. Rejection seeped into your bones, gnawing at the confidence you once held so effortlessly. Subtle manipulations left you second-guessing every aspiration, and a cycle of self-doubt took root, convincing you that if you tried harder to blend in, the wounds might finally heal. Then, in a quiet flash of insight, you recognized that this emotional erosion was neither random nor personal. It was systemic, like the trials of Joseph in Egypt, where envy and fear conspired to bury him beneath false accusations, Genesis 39. Forces rose against your potential simply because it threatened their equilibrium. Behind the scenes, unseen energies, whether vested interests, collective fears, or spiritual saboteurs, aligned to dim the spark they feared you would unleash. This understanding shifted the narrative. It wasn't about your inadequacy, but about the power you possessed that made you a target. Looking back, you begin to see the repeating motifs. Projects that crumbled just as momentum built, friendships that frayed when you dared to speak your truth, mentors who vanished when you stood on the brink of breakthrough. These were not merely life's misfortunes, but carefully placed hurdles designed to test your resolve and break your stride. It's like turning on a lamp in a shadow-drenched room. You feel the edges of every hidden blade and tripwire. Each pattern of sabotage now reads like a charted route on a map drawn by adversaries who knew exactly where to strike. As this clarity settles, the energetic resistance takes on a tangible form. You can almost feel the fog of their interference drifting through the space between you, an unseen barrier pressing down on your creativity, a soft hum of static around your best ideas. Doors that once opened for you now swing shut with sudden finality, as if warning signs flash in a script only they can read. In Ezekiel 13 verse 5, false prophets wrap themselves in deception, erecting flimsy walls doomed to collapse. Today, you stand before such walls, sensing their instability under your growing light. Confronted with this spiritual sabotage, you notice how you responded in kind. There were moments when you folded inwards, shrinking your voice to avoid detection, apologizing for the very insights that set you apart. You learned to people please as a shield, dimming your brilliance so that you might blend into the collective hum. Or perhaps you rebelled in silence, nursing quiet resentment, while believing your true power would manifest when the time was right. This internal struggle, though painful, was never a sign of failure, but a mirror reflecting how deeply you've been trained to hide your light. But here, at the crossroads of resistance, reclamation begins. Recognize that every act of sabotage was an affirmation of your potential, a sign that you carry a light potent enough to unsettle the status quo. It's time to reclaim your stolen energy. Draw back the fragments of your voice they tried to silence. Gather the confidence they sought to fragment. Speak with the fierceness of Deborah, who rose to judge and deliver her people, Judges 4. Reclaiming authority where it was denied. Let your words ring out as the echo of what they once tried to bury. You were opposed because you are powerful, and every attempt to block you only sharpened the clarity of your purpose. The more they whispered doubt, the louder your conviction grew. Comment liberated if you feel your energy returning, and share a moment when you first sense a shift, when your shadow lost its grip and your light surged free. Stay tuned, for in the next section we will unveil how the moment of spiritual exposure transforms every betrayal into an opportunity for divine justice and unshakable empowerment. And to every soul who supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here. The moment of spiritual exposure. In the instant your world shifted, you sense a crack in the mask someone wore, an almost imperceptible tremor in their carefully crafted smile. In that moment, your vision glowed with an uncanny clarity, as if a hidden veil drew aside just long enough for you to glimpse the gears turning behind a friendly facade. A stray hesitation in their voice, a stutter of gesture, and you realize what once felt like an uneasy suspicion was in fact a truth too long concealed. This sudden internal shift revealed that reality itself had been speaking in hushed tones, and now, at last, you could hear its secret script. Beneath the chatter and the clamor of everyday life, you begin to notice a language woven into every fragment of experience, a geometry of coincidence and a sacred math pulsing in the spaces between words. Numbers align on clocks and patterns that mirror your own heartbeat. Phrases echo an inner cry you once thought was only yours, and silent moments shimmer with promise, as though a scroll of truth is unfurling before you. It's as if reality has become a living text, and you are the only one reading the divine cipher etched into the air. The world, at long last, feels less random and more like a coded tapestry woven expressly for your awakening. Inside you, a subtle hum intensifies. Your intuition, once a quiet companion, now thrums like an unstrung harp plucked by unseen hands. You find that your boundaries happen without thought. You no longer entertain toxic whispers or allow doubt to drift in on the breeze. Your energy pulses in harmony with places and people aligned to your true purpose and rejects those that would dim your light. The scent of rosewood in a stranger's voice, the flash of green in a peripheral gaze. Each detail confirms that your inner senses, long maligned as fanciful, are in fact the instruments of your highest guidance. Outside your body, the world responds to your awakening with a clarity that takes your breath away. Doors that once slammed shut now part with ease. Prophets and allies emerge from unexpected places, and even those who once opposed you pause, caught off guard by a force they can neither name nor contain. It is as if a divine blueprint is unfolding, where each event, whether a challenge or an opportunity, slots perfectly into a grand design. You walk forward and find a path mirrored in the stones beneath your feet, guiding you ever closer to the destiny you have always carried. A memory stirs, buried beneath layers of forgetfulness, an echo from a dream you had as a child, of standing on a shore bathed in silver light, hearing voices speak in tongues you could not yet translate. That moment was never lost. It was preserved in the depths of your spirit, waiting for the right alignment of stars to awaken it. Now, as you stand in this place of revelation, the dream symbols return with fresh urgency. The wave that lifted you, the shell that whispered secrets, the horizon that beckoned you onward. Your spiritual intelligence, ancient as the first dawn, reactivates itself and speaks in a language older than memory. As this sacred memory takes hold, the shape of your destiny begins to crystallize before you. You no longer forge a future from scattered hopes. You reclaim a path already laid by forces wiser than your conscious mind. The question is not what you'll become, but which aspect of your true self you will step into next. The permission you sought from others dissolves like mist in morning light, for the only sanction you need is a call that rises from within your own heart. This is a prophecy lived, not written. The future remembered, not constructed. In this surge of awakening, The energy that once threatened to overwhelm you now becomes a spark of reclamation. What they intended as obstacles now stand revealed as confirming beacons, each resistance a signpost pointing toward your power. You draw back the stolen fragments of your voice, reclaim the fire of your vision, and stand with the authority you were always meant to embody. Like a violinist reclaiming the bow, you play the melody of your own truth, no longer silenced or bent to other scripts. This reclamation is fierce yet tender, a divine right restored. This revelation is not a conclusion, but an invitation to ascend further. You were never mistaken to feel the stirrings of the unseen, for now the hidden realm has flung open its gates to you. Comment, expose if this moment resonates with your own experience, and share a dream or memory that first cracked open your world. As you bear witness to this dawning, prepare for the next revelation, where the ripple of your presence will transform every space you enter, even before you speak a single word. The consequences in the spirit realm. A tremor of resolve shakes your soul as you stand at the edge of this moment. A decision point where discovery gives way to choice. In the quiet between heartbeats, you hear an inner question echo. Will I step forward now, or remain tethered to hesitation? The air around you crackles with expectancy, as if heaven itself leans in to witness your response. No longer can you wander through shadows of uncertainty. The crossroads demands that you choose. Behind you lie the lessons of revelation, and before you stretches the road of embodiment. In this sacred instant, passivity dissolves. Your next breath ignites a threshold that leads from knowing into becoming. Once, you poured your time, your voice, and your presence into the hands of others, hoping for affirmation and finding only fragments in return. Now, reclaim every shard of authority you surrendered. Speak the words of your own coronation. I claim what is mine. Use the sacred echoes of liturgy to anoint your spirit. Each syllable a reclaiming of the throne you relinquished too soon. Let the memory of past training flash before you, not as failure, but as preparation for the fierce clarity you now embrace. In this ritual of return, you gather your energy like a sovereign gathering loyal ministers, ready to rule over the domain of your own destiny. Within your grasp lie gifts that others once saw as burdens. The insight that reads the hidden motives behind casual smiles, the sensitivity that transforms pain into compassion, the memory that recalls ancient promises written on the wind, the discernment that cuts through illusion, and the strength that endures when storms rage. These are no longer abstract qualities but finely honed tools. Keys that unlock sealed doors, scrolls that reveal divine decrees, fire that burns through deception, and armor that shields your heart. Embrace these gifts as the instruments of your mission, each one designed to serve a purpose far greater than you dared imagine. There is no map to seek, for the path you walk was laid by the pulse of your own purpose. With each decisive step, the ground rearranges itself beneath you. Stones shift into stepping stairs and crosswinds guide your sails. You do not follow a route carved by others. You carve your route with every act of faith. As the prophet Isaiah declared, your feet shall carry you where your heart has always known to go. Isaiah 52 verse 7. Feel the earth breathe in rhythm with your resolve, and trust that the next bend in the road reveals itself only when you commit your footfall to the course of destiny. All around the globe, soul tribes awaken with the same crescendo of intention. You are not a lone beacon, but one star in a constellation of kindred lights, each burning with unique brilliance, yet united in purpose. Across rivers and mountains, in cities and desert sands, others answer the same call, refusing to dim their flame to fit a fading world. Together, you form divine clusters that reshape reality through collective devotion. No longer will you hesitate to shine. Your radiance joins theirs, forging an order that no shadow can breach. Now, take command of your energy as you would steward a sacred flame. This is not the arrogance of ego, but the solemn duty of a guardian entrusted with divine fire. Define your boundaries as walls of living light. Choose your alliances with intentional devotion, and appoint your practices, prayer, meditation, honest confession, as rituals that maintain the purity of your domain. Each choice you make weaves another thread in the tapestry of your mission, and each boundary you uphold becomes a pillar supporting the temple of your renewed self. Everything you felt, everything you feared, everything you've seen and survived has led you to this clarion point. Hear this declaration as prophecy. You are ready, Dismantle the last whisper of doubt as you a collapsing bridge behind you. Stand firm in the truth that you embody the fulfillment of every promise whispered by your soul. No longer an apprentice in the school of spirit, you now stand as a master. Your destiny crystallized into a single, unwavering pulse of divine intention. This is no mere message. It is your summons. Rise now and embody the revelation you have received. Comment ready if you accept this calling, and share a moment when your own spirit first demanded that you stand in your power. Let your reflection become part of our living archive, strengthening the bond between awakened souls. And as you prepare to step through the next portal, know that the consequences in the spirit realm are already unfolding to cement your authority. Keep watching to witness how your presence reshapes every unseen boundary before a single word is spoken. A mist-laden dream unfurls before your mind's eye, where you stand at the edge of an ancient temple carved from moonlight. In this vision, a hush falls over the air as stone guardians come to life, their eyes glowing with the same fire that you feel in your chest. This is not mere fantasy, but a mirror to your inner awakening. You are called to embody the Sentinel's watch, to keep vigil over the fragile light of truth in a world often shrouded in illusion. In households and workplaces, in conversations and silent reflections, your awareness becomes a torch that warns of hidden snares and guides hearts toward clarity. Let this dream echo in your bones. You are no longer a passive observer, but an active guardian, entrusted with the sacred task of illuminating the shadows. In the soft echo of your own heartbeat, you sense a whisper urging you to honor every flicker of intuition as a voice from beyond the veil. Just as prophets of old, like Samuel who heard the Lord's call in night, 1 Samuel 3 verse 4, learn to distinguish a subtle summons from clamor of daily life, you too must sharpen your inner hearing. That tingle at the back of your neck when you meet a stranger, the unexplained calm that washes over you before a difficult decision. These are not random sensations, but signposts etched by the divine. When you trust these whispers, you weave a tapestry of alignment that resonates through your relationships, your work, and the uncharted realms of spirit, affirming that every step you take is part of a sacred choreography. A single ray of sunlight cutting through storm clouds becomes a living symbol. Your boundaries, when firmly upheld, can split the darkest of influences. In Ezekiel's vision, a river sprang from the temple, marking a divide between healing waters and stagnant mire, Ezekiel 47 verse 1. So too does your newly formed perimeter delineate where your light can flow freely and where destructive patterns must be left behind. By honoring your needs, saying no to energy vampires, and protecting the sanctity of your inner temple, you transform your daily life into a sanctuary. Your home, your rituals, and your sacred practices become the hallowed ground where spirit and matter converge, and no force can breach without your permission. Between the rustle of turning pages, you recall the story of the early church in Acts, where believers were one in heart and mind, Acts 4 verse 32. That unity, born of shared revelation and mutual commitment, mirrors the soul tribes awakening across the globe today. Beneath the surface of social media feeds and conference rooms, a deeper current flows, groups of like-hearted seekers who mirror your passion for truth. When you join voices and energies, singing the same melody of purpose, your combined resonance becomes a force that reshapes culture itself. You are part of a living constellation, each star unique yet bound by a common light, and together you form a luminous map for those still lost in darkness. In the hush of your morning ritual, be it prayer, meditation, or solitary breath, you stand at a threshold of co-creation with the divine. This is not a casual practice, but a solemn vow to steward your energy as carefully as a keeper of fire. With every intention you set, every vow you whisper, you draw a circle of potency around your life. The incense that curls upward carries your devotion into unseen realms. The gratitude that warms your chest anchors you in a flow of abundance. As you tend this inner flame, you recognize that your choices are threads in a tapestry far larger than your immediate perception, weaving a future that has been waiting for your willing participation. A flash of remembrance sweeps through your soul, like a memory of a life lived before time. You sense that beneath your current form lies an unbroken lineage, ancestors who carried the same spark, perhaps as oracles, healers, or silent sentinels. Their stories may not appear in our history books, but they pulse in your DNA, a quiet drumbeat urging you onward. When you honor the struggles and triumphs of those who came before, you step into a flow of inherited wisdom. Each insight you claim becomes a nod to their sacrifices, and each victory you celebrate ripples backward, healing wounds that have echoed through centuries. A prophecy resonates deep within. The world is poised on the cusp of a great unveiling, and your awakening is part of the vanguard. You may see it in the rise in demand for authenticity, the surge of grassroots movements, or the growing hunger for spiritual depth in everyday conversations. These are not mere trends, but omens of a collective shift toward unity and integrity. Your role is to stand at the forefront, not drawing attention to yourself, but shining a beacon that others cannot ignore. As the wind of change sweeps across nations and communities, your steadfast presence anchors a momentum, ensuring that the wave of remembrance carries everyone forward. Finally, hear this invocation burning in the silent depths of your spirit. You are more than a seeker. You are a catalyst for transformation. Every boundary you set, every intuition you trust, every alliance you forge, and every moment of sacred vigilance contributes to an unfolding drama of cosmic purpose. Comment Catalyst if you feel the surge of this calling, and share a moment when your presence shifted the energy in a room, a conversation, or even just your own heart. This is not just the echo of what has been revealed. It is the first breath of what is to come. Prepare yourself, for in the next chapter we will witness how your embodied light reshapes every space you enter. Before a single word is spoken, a vision dances on the edge of your awareness. You stand atop a windswept hill, the valley below awakening to first light, and as dawn breaks, you sense a stirring in the bones of the earth. This is not a morning like any other. It feels consecrated, as though angels have paused to watch the moment. In that silent embrace, you hear the prophecy resonate in your chest. The world is poised on the brink of a great unveiling. It hums in a hum of grassroots gatherings, vibrates in the sotto voce prayers that surface at kitchen tables, and ripples to the collective longing for honesty we've seen surge in unexpected places. You recognize these ripples as more than cultural tides. They're the first tremors of a global shift toward integrity and unity. Your heart quickens not with fear, but with purpose. You are called to stand in that dawn light, not as a solitary flare, but as a steadfast beam that guides a growing wave of remembrance. A memory rises of a dinner conversation where someone whispered their truth the first time, and you felt the air change. Voices hushed around the table, eyes widened, shoulders unfurrowed. That single revelation, soft and tremulous, released a current that ran beneath the rest of the evening's chatter. Here lies your testament. Authenticity breeds transformation. Like the unlikely mustard seed that sprang into a towering tree in Matthew's Gospel, every honest confession, every unveiled tear, grows roots that cradle the wounded and invite the lost. You realize that the rise in demand for genuineness isn't a fad. It's a prelude to a forest of souls seeking shelter. Your awakening is lodged within this forest seedbed, and your own vulnerability becomes the fertile ground where others find courage to grow. In the patterning of daily life, you have felt a new geometry unfolding. Conversations you once tiptoed around now form triangles of trust, three hearts anchoring each other in candor. Community projects bloom in unison, as if choreographed by invisible hands. You notice the code beneath the surface. The same phrase arising in distant towns, the identical heartbeat of purpose felt in parallel meetings. It's as if the universe has been writing in block letters across your experience, and only now do you read fluency. This divine math, these recurring sequences, hint that your personal awakening isn't merely introspection. It is part of a cosmic algorithm rebalancing the fields of human connection. Your mission is to tune into these patterns, to speak the next line of the code, so that what began as scattered signals coheres into a symphony of unity. Comment Catalyst if you feel the surge of this calling, and share a moment when your presence shifted the energy in a room, a conversation, or even just within your own heart. Your reflection transforms ripples into waves of encouragement. This is your moment to reclaim your destiny. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment "I am chosen" to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all supporting members. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light, and if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every super thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Stand tall, chosen one, and let their betrayal become the stage for your highest triumph.